Welcome to another video session on Signals and Systems, Unit 1. This is worked examples. In this session, we will be looking at operation performed on two signals. This is one of the very important operations called the convolution operation. So, what is this convolution? That is what we will be looking into. So, convolution is of two types. That means if you're dealing with a discrete time signal, you call that convolution as convolution sum. And if you're dealing with a continuous time signal, you call it as a convolution integral. So basically, what is this convolution? Suppose I have a system, let us say it is a discrete time system. So we represent it as h of n, or it's just a function, discrete time function represented as h of n, and we represent another function which is applied as an input to this system, and we call that as x of n. So y of n is the output given out by the system, which is obtained by convolving x of n with h of n. So this star represents the operation of convolution. So we are dealing with a discrete time system. It is called as convolution sum. Suppose if you are dealing with a continuous time system, then we call it as convolution integral. So what is this convolution? How do we compute it? So you have this mathematical expression y of n, which is equal to x of n convolved with h of n. So this star represents convolution, is obtained by sigma k equals minus infinity to plus infinity x of k h of n minus k. Now what exactly is happening here? We have the signal x of n and h of n. Okay, let us go to continuous time so that you understand it more simpler, because so far we are dealing more with the continuous time signals. Okay, in the continuous times, we call this as convolution integral, and we call y of t, which is the output, or the convolved output y of t is x of n, x of t convolved with h of t. So these are the two signals, x of t and h of t. So as of now, you can say that two functions are getting convolved, and that output is represented as y of t. All right. So how do you obtain this? So this is the notation. X of t convolved with h of t is the notation for convolution, and that is obtained by using or evaluating the integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. So that is, we are given a function in terms of t. What we do is we convert it into another variable called tau, and next this x of tau and h of tau we obtain, and one of the function, that is h of tau, we are reflecting it and making it as h of minus tau, and that reflected signal we are shifting by amount t. All right. And so what is this minus infinity plus infinity? This is tau that is going to vary. So what we do is we take t, and t also will take the value from minus infinity to plus infinity. So here we see that tau also takes minus infinity to plus infinity, t also takes minus infinity to plus infinity. So here we are doing two-dimensional operation because we have two variables here. So therefore, since we have two signals, so we are dealing with two-dimensional operation is what we can simply say. So that means we are performing the convolution. So let us take example and understand more about how we can obtain this convolution. So now, given two signals, x of t is equal to u of t and h of t is equal to e power minus alpha t u of t. So where alpha is less than 0. So this is a h of t is an exponentially decaying signal, and when you multiply the exponential signal with u of t. As you know, u of t is a unit step signal, and when you multiply with this, we see that the signal starts exactly at t equals 0 and tends up to or goes on up to t equals infinity. So if you draw the signal, we will draw that graphically. I'll show you. So here, what is the solution? We have to find y of t, which is x of t convolved with h of t, which is given by the formula integral minus infinity to plus infinity. So which is taking minus infinity to plus infinity, tau is taking minus infinity to plus infinity, h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Now you see that convolution obeys commutative property. That means x of t convolved with h of t or h of t convolved with x of t, both will give you the same result. So therefore, this is what we are getting. Next, if we plot the signal, this is x of tau, and here this represents h of tau. As we can see, x of tau is a signal. So instead of writing in terms of t, we are writing in terms of another variable called tau. So tau starts at 0 and goes on up to infinity because it is unit step function. Next, if you see the h of tau function, that is also multiplied with u of t. So therefore, it starts at 0 and goes on up to. So the tau variable here also, it starts at t equals 0 and goes on up to infinity because we have multiplied it with the unit step function. So this is the x of tau function. This is h of tau function. Next, what we have to do is we have to find from this formula what we have to find h of x of t minus tau. So that means this is h of tau. We keep this as it is. Next, we have to find out x of t minus tau. To find this, what we are going to do is first we are going to find out x of minus tau. So x of minus tau is obtained by folding this x of tau along the y-axis. So we get the mirror image of this x of tau. So when we fold it, we get x of minus tau. So this is x of minus tau. So first, given x of t, we have converted into x of tau, and x of tau we have obtained x of minus tau by reflecting the tau variable or folding along the y-axis. All right, next what we are going to do is we are going to shift this by an amount t to get x of t minus tau. So as you can see, this is a shift. So it is a time from the time shift, whatever we have studied in signals and systems unit 1. So the same time shift operation is performed here. So when we shift this, now t can be, now this signal, it was at 0 and that is x of tau starts at 0 and goes on up to infinity. X of minus tau starts at 0 and goes on up to x of tau starts at 0, goes on up to plus infinity. X of minus tau starts at 0 and goes on up to minus infinity. Now here, if you see x of t minus tau, that means the signal is shifted by an amount t. So the signal x of minus tau, which was starting at 0, when we shift it by x of t minus tau, it will start at t, not at 0. Now, if t is less than 0, this will get shifted to the left. If t is greater than 0, then this signal will get shifted like this. Let me just show you how it would look like. Okay. So if t is, so somewhere here, let us say it is starting. So this is where it starts and it will go on up to minus infinity. So this is our signal x of t minus tau. Now, you can, as I told you in this equation, t also will take a will vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. Tau also is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. All right. Now, what we are going to do here is we are going to vary both of this and see what is the overlapping and integrate in that limit. All right. So now this is for x of t minus tau when t is less than 0. So let us say this is 0 point. If it is less than 0 means maybe it is minus 0.01 or minus 0.02 or minus 100, whatever value if you take. So there is no overlap between x of t minus tau and h of tau. So we are going to, why? Because we need here the product of these two signals for integration. So that means h of tau exists from 0 onwards, whereas x of t minus tau exists from minus infinity up to t. All right. So when we overlap these two signals, we have to check where is the region of overlap, and that region is what we are going to integrate here. So that tau will get the new limits for integration. All right. So now we have seen that when t takes a value less than 0, so this is the h of tau. So if I draw the x of t minus tau signal on this, this is my h of tau. And if I draw the, that's supposed to be the step signal. So let us say this is the point t, and what is the overlap between these two signals? There is no overlap. So therefore, where x of t minus tau exists, h of tau is 0, and where x of t minus tau is 0, h of tau exists. So when you multiply, you get 0. So therefore, we say that y of t, okay. So we say that, okay, let me just come back to this. Yeah, we say that y of t, that is the output, is equal to 0 when t is less than 0. So that means there is no overlap between the two signals we are trying to convolve in this region. So therefore t, whether we take t minus 1, minus 2, minus 100, minus 1000, minus 10,000, whatever value we take, which is less than 0, there is no overlap between h of tau and x of t minus tau. So therefore the integral will be 0. So we say output y of t is equal to 0 when t takes a value less than 0. So I said t also varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, right? So from minus infinity up to 0, we have computed for t. So therefore the output is 0. Next, what happens when t is greater than 0? So when t is greater than 0, that means, let me say let me draw here on this signal here. Okay, so it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, anywhere. So when I say t greater than 0, it can be even very just adjacent to the 0 point. So any of these points it can be. So therefore, what will be the overlap? If it is here, then overlap is this much region. If it is here, the overlap is this much region. When it is here, the overlap is this much region. So that means the signal, if I'm taking the signal here, so this is the region of overlap. Here, there is no overlap of both the signals, right? So this much is the region of overlap, and here the product is non-zero. So this will be our region of integration. So your new region of integration will be within this region. All right. So that is what is the operation here. So when we take t value greater than 0, this will go on. So when t is greater than 0, that means it is 0.1, 0.99, 0.100, 0.1, I mean 0.100, whatever you are going to take the value, or even 1, 200, 200, 10,000. The value of t greater than 0 means it can take any of these values. So when it takes any of these values, there is overlap of the signal. So we have to start. So the where does the overlap start and where does the overlap end is what we required for this calculation of this integral here. So the overlap definitely starts at 0 here because t has taken the value more than 0. So overlap starts at 0. And where does it end? So this end, we are calling it as t end. So if I say this is t, that means the t, this end has come here. If I say this is where it has end, this is where 0 to t, that means this will be the region of overlap. So up to what point is the overlap ending? It depends on what value t takes. So therefore, the lower limit for this, for the new range of overlap is lower limit is 0, upper limit depends on t. All right. So with that, we try to compute the integration from this equation. So when we try to compute that, we see that y of t is equal to 0 to t e to the power of minus alpha tau d tau in this equation. Now what happened to x of t minus tau? So we are saying that x of t minus tau, the amplitude or the signal value is 1 because it's a unit step function. So we have got 1 for that. Whereas the h of tau is, instead of t, we are going to represent in terms of tau. So therefore, this becomes h of tau is equal to e to the power of minus alpha tau. So when we are performing integration, we need the function representation, not the graphical representation. So if they have given in the graphical representation, we have to write it in the function form and then we have to evaluate. So I hope now you understand why there are different forms of representation. All right. So here they have given in the equation form, and we have, for our understanding, we have drawn the signal in the graphical form so that we understand the operation better. So when t is less than 0, as we saw, y of t, that is the output, is 0. But when t is greater than 0, y of t can be computed from this integral as y of t is equal to 0 to t e power minus alpha tau d tau. When you integrate this, it turns out to be 1 by alpha into 1 minus e power minus alpha t after substituting the values, the upper and lower limits. So now this is the output. So you can see that the function, when we have convolved, we have gotten output. So this is called as a convolution operation. So what we can conclude from this in this discussion is that I have taken two signals. They are not limited signals. That means it starts at 0 and goes on up to infinity. So it is not a bounded signal, right? It is going on up to infinity. Where does this u of t start? It starts at 0, it goes on up to infinity. Where is this h of tau, which is equal to e power minus alpha tau u of tau start? It starts at 0 and it is exponentially decaying and goes up to tau. So these two signals we have taken, and then we saw that it is when we convolve this, it is either no overlap or partial overlap. Now we see that the signal is only partially getting overlap for whatever value t takes. So even as I said, if t comes here, t comes here, t comes here, or even if it goes near to infinity, it is still, the signal will be partial overlap only. So therefore, here we say when y of t is equal to 0, when t is less than 0, in this region, we say that it is no overlap, and when t is greater than 0, it is partial overlap. So the signal is getting partially overlapped, because when t goes to infinity, you might think that this end of minus infinity has come to 0. No, why? Because minus infinity, we don't know where it is. So this, when we say t has gone to infinity, so this end is still, we don't know, that end still has not come here. So that is still somewhere in the minus infinity range only. So therefore t has gone to the plus infinity range. So therefore when t is greater than 0 means whether it is at 1, 200, 1000, 10,000, lakh, whatever number you say, so it comes in this region. So we can have this convolution computed for only two regions, that is when t less than 0 and when t greater than 0. So that takes in the values for t from minus infinity to plus infinity. All right. So that minus infinity to plus infinity is split into two different regions here when t is less than 0 and when t is greater than 0. So we have computed the output in this problem. So we have computed the output as y of t is equal to, or the convolution of these two signals x of t with h of t is y of t, which is equal to 1 by alpha into 1 minus e to the power of minus alpha t. Now let us take another example. So now since we are saying that the signal starts at t equals 0 only, because you see that here for t less than 0 there is output is 0. For t greater than 0 only we are getting the output. At t equals 0 just that line will be overlapping. So therefore we are multiplying this with u of t to say that y of t starts at t equals 0. The output starts at t equals 0 and goes on up to infinity. So that is why we have represented the output in this equation form. Okay, next let us take another example, which is a very simple example. One is a finite signal and another one is an infinite signal. Now, as I said, u of t means it starts at 0 and goes on up to infinity. Now, u of t and minus u of t minus 1. So how does this signal look like? So u of t will start at t equals 0 and where does it end? It will end at t1. So it will be a, if I have to draw the signal, anyway we will be drawing now. So okay, so this is 0 and this is t1. T1. So the signal u of t minus u of t minus 1 will start at 0 and end at t1. Okay, so it's a finite signal. It is not an infinite signal where it goes on up to infinity. All right. Okay. So now the output we have to compute using the convolution integral, which is integral minus infinity plus infinity x of tau h of t x of tau or h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Now in this case again we will keep h of tau as constant or fixed and x of tau we are going to move it over this. So what we have seen now in the previous problem is one signal. From this what we are seeing here is that from this formula also what you can see is that one signal is fixed and the other signal is goes on varying with respect to t, or it is shifted with as t varies, right? So it is getting shifted with t. So one signal is fixed and other signal you are going to move it over the other signal and we compute the region of overlap and then we compute this integral. Now let us draw the signal. Okay, so this is h of tau which starts at 0 and ends at t minus 1. As I said, first step in convolution is the h of t has to be drawn in terms of h of tau, or t has to be converted into tau. All right, t1 can be anything. If t1 is 2, then it exists from 0 to 2 time units. If t1 is 0.1, then 0 to 0.1. If t1 is 100, then 0 to 100 and so on. So it has a constant amplitude of 1. It's a very limited signal. It does not go up to infinity. So this is h of tau. Now let us see how does x of tau look like. It's the same like the previous example. So it starts at 0 and goes on up to infinity. In this problem again we will take x of t minus tau. That means x of tau we take, then we obtain x of minus tau by reflecting it, and when x of similar to the previous example, when and then shift the x of minus tau by t units. So this end, which is where in x of tau, which was at 0, now when we shift it, it goes to t, and we call this end as t end. All right. So this is what is our hold for this, and we are going to, from this point, we are going to move it over and check where is the overlap. So when t is less than 0, so that means t is less than 0. For your understanding, I will draw here on the h of tau itself. T is less than 0, so that means that is my x of t minus tau. So this is my signal x of t minus tau, and there is no overlap. So therefore, the integral will be 0, just like the previous problem. So therefore, for this region, when t is less than 0, when t takes a value less than 0 means 0 up to minus infinity, whatever value you take, less than minus 1, minus 2, minus 0.1, minus 0.5, minus 1.39, whatever number you take, it is all less than 0. And for all those values, there is no overlap. Therefore, y of t is equal to 0 for t less than 0. Next, when t takes greater than 0, that means now up to what value t can go. Now you see that when t is greater than 0 means it can be here. Now let me draw on this itself. Okay, it can be here, this point, or it can be just here, or it can be just here. So that means when I have just indicated 3 points. Now what happens for all these 3 points? That means it is starting here and goes on up to infinity like this. So this is this blue signal is our x of t minus tau, which I have drawn over this x of h of tau signal. Now, where is the region of overlap? This is the region of overlap. Now, if it was starting here, then this would be the region of overlap. So therefore, now what we have to see is that now what values t is taking. T is taking the value greater than 0, but it is less than t1. Why we have to say like this? You see that when t is less than t1, that is the small t is less than capital T1, or small t is less than capital T1, there is partial overlap. That is why we have to consider this T1. Now, when t takes I said t is greater than 0. Now, there are two regions it can take. That means it can be between 0 to T1 and more than T1. More than T1 means here, let us say like this. So if it is taking this value, then this complete signal h of tau is getting overlapped by this blue signal, right? So therefore, there are two regions in this. There is partial overlap and full overlap. That means h of tau is getting fully overlapped by this signal x of t minus tau. So therefore, in this, that means though we are taking t greater than 0, but for this we have two conditions. That means when t is greater than 0, but t is less than t1. In that case, we have partial overlap. So therefore, when t is less than t1 and it is greater than 0, there is partial overlap. So in that region, where is the integral starting, or where is the overlap starting, and where is it ending? As I said, it starts at 0 and ends where t ends. As I said, if t is here, then from here to here is the integral, region of integral, 0 to t. If t ends here, that means here to here is the integral, right? So in this region, that is 0 less than t less than t1, it will be somewhere here. So t can be here, can be here, can be here. Now, where is the upper limit? It depends on t. So therefore, in this integral, the lower limit is 0, upper limit is t. So when you integrate this equation, you will get y of t is equal to 0 to t. The function value, what is the function value or the amplitude of both these signals? This signal is having an amplitude 1, this signal is having an amplitude 1. So 1 into 1 is 1 dt. So we simply multiply the function values, okay, and integrate it. So when you integrate it, this is equal to t. So we have computed the integral for this range. That means from minus infinity up to 0, when t takes those values, the output is 0. We have shown here. Now when t is greater than 0 but less than t1, the output y of t is equal to t. Next region is when small t is greater than capital T1. As I said, there is a full overlap. As I said, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, or here also. So as t comes to the right of T1, the h of tau signal gets fully overlapped. So therefore, in this region, the lower limit, let us say if I will draw here. Let me say this x of t minus tau signal is starting here. Sorry, it is, yeah, it's supposed to be just a straight line here. Don't, okay, let me redraw that. Okay, let us say it is starting here and goes on up to minus in, or that is our signal. So we have pulled that signal till here. So then where is the overlap? The overlap is still here only. But then in this region, h of tau is 0. So though you integrate it to this point up to t, now this is where our t is. So though if you take 0 to t, but in this range, that means t1 to t, the integral value will be 0. So therefore, there is no point in calculating this. So therefore, we say that when t takes the value, small t takes the value greater than t1, the interval of integration will be, or the region of integration will be from 0 to t1 itself, or t1 alone. Therefore, what we get is the output for t greater than or equal to t1. At t equals t1, there is a complete overlap. When t is at this end on t1, so there is still complete overlap. All right, when t is less than t1 only, it is partial overlap. When t is equal to t1 or greater than t1, there is complete overlap of the h of tau signal by the x of t minus tau signal. So therefore, in that region, the integral limits will be 0 to t1 dt. So it will be equal to t1. And if you plot the signal y of t, so this is from 0 to less than t1, it is having t. As you know, t is a ramp function. So it is shown like this. And at t greater than or equal to t1, it has reached an amplitude of t1. No matter how far you go, the amplitude does not rise more than that. It has a constant amplitude of t1. That is what we are telling. If t is equal to 200, or I mean t greater than t1 means 2 times t1, 10 times t1, 100 times t1, whatever number we take, it is equal to t1 alone. So therefore, at whatever time we go, it is fixed to t1. So this is what we have shown. So this is what we call the convolution operation, and this is how we compute the output. Let us take one last example on this signal and compute the convolution. Okay. Yeah, let us take to finite. Okay, before that, let me conclude from this previous problem. So when we convolve the first problem, what we saw, when we convolve two infinite signals, we get only two regions, that is no overlap and partial overlap. All right. So how we in that two regions, we have to perform the integration. Now, when we convolve two signals where one signal is a finite signal and another signal is an infinite signal, then we have three regions. When there is no overlap, that is one region, and partial overlap is another region, and full overlap is the other region. So if you take the output, this is no overlap region, this is partial overlap region, and this is full overlap region. All right. So now let us take the two finite signals and convolve. So always it can be any of these three combinations only. Now I have taken only step signal. You can have any signal here. It can be a step signal, a sinusoidal signal, an exponential signal, or a ramp signal, or any signal. For simple understanding, I have taken two step signals. So now we are supposed to perform convolution of x of t with h of t. So I have replaced t with tau, and I'm going to call this as x of tau and h of tau. Using the same formula, we are computing here. Now in this case, I am going to shift and move the h of tau signal, not the x of tau signal. So x of tau will be fixed. In the previous two problems, we saw h of tau is fixed and x of tau is getting shifted. Now in this case, we will fix x of tau and move h of tau. So therefore, this is h of tau, this is h of minus tau. We obtain by simply folding the h of tau signal along the y-axis. So h of tau exists from 0 to t1, h of minus tau exists from 0 to minus t1. All right. So at t equals 0, so there is the overlap on this line. When t takes value less than 0, there is no overlap, as I said. So when I shift this h of minus tau by t units, then when I shift h of tau by t units, so that this 0 point will now be called as a t point. All right. So when t takes the value less than 0, as from the previous understanding, so there will be no overlap. All right. Okay. So if I draw it on this, okay, if I draw it on this, okay, so this is the h of t minus tau signal. So we see that there is no overlap in this region. So t cannot take less than 0. If it takes, the integral value will be 0, or the region of there is no overlapping in the region. So therefore, the integration will be 0. That is what we are telling. Okay. Next. Now when t takes 0 or greater than 0, the output will be varying. So now when t takes a value greater than 0 but less than t1, okay, so when t takes a value greater than 0 and less than t1, so the overlapping will be between 0 to where t ends or where t is stopped. All right. So therefore, we are going to move t. So it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, or it can be here. So we are going to take the first range, and in this range, we have partial overlap. So therefore, we see that this red signal, this red line I have shown as the x of tau. Okay, so this is the signal, and I am moving the h of t minus tau. So this is 0 point, and it has moved t points, which is greater than 0 and less than t1. It can be here, it can, if I move it some more, it can come here also. So in this range, where is the integral? What will be the limits for integral? It starts at 0. The overlap starts at 0. You can see from this very clearly. It does not start before that. The overlap starts at 0 and ends where t ends. So therefore, in this region, that is from 0 less than or equal to t, less than or equal to t1, rather less than t1, it will be from 0 to where t ends. So in that range, y of t will be computed as 0 to t d tau, because both the signals are having amplitude 1. So therefore, the function value is 1. When you integrate this, it is simply t. All right. Next, when small t is equal to t1 and greater than t1, when it is equal to t1, therefore there is a complete overlap of h of t minus tau signal and x of tau signal. So that means it will completely come and sit on this red line, right? For small t equal to t1, because both are of size t1 only, 0 to t1, 0 to minus t1, both are of same size. So they will come and sit on this. When small t is greater than t1, then the t end is gone. What is this end? So when I say I've shifted this signal by t units, the h of minus tau, this is h of minus tau. If I shift this by t units, I get h of t minus tau. So this end, I call it as tau, and this end will be t minus, sorry, this end we call it as t, and this end we call it as t minus t1. So therefore, this end is t minus t1. So we take the range when T1 is less than or equal to T, less than or equal to, rather less than 2 times T1. Now in this range, the T edge has gone more than T1, but the trailing edge is still in the overlap region. So this is the red one is the x of tau signal I've shown here, but that is still in the same position, whereas h of t minus tau has moved forward. So this is the t end which has moved, but at the t end there is no overlap. The overlap is here. So now this end is what we are going to compute. Now where is this end? This end is t minus t1 end. What is this end? This is the t1. So therefore the t minus t1. So where is the, so this t minus t1 can be here or can be here, can be here. So when t is greater than t1, small t is greater than t1, then the forward edge or the beginning edge we have lost control, and this edge is what we have control. So therefore this is the one we have to compute the integral for. Therefore this lower limit, this is the lower limit, this is the upper limit. What is the upper limit? Upper limit is t1. What is the lower limit? That depends on where t is. So depending on t, that is t minus t1. So therefore the lower limit will be t minus t1, upper limit will be t1. So in this region, y of t will be computed as t minus t1 to t1. Again here there is partial overlap with the trailing edge. So we call this as two edges. This is the leading edge and trailing edge. So leading edge we take as long as the, in this condition, in this case, t is less than or equal to t1. When t becomes more than t1, then we go for the trailing edge. So we compute the signal in terms of the trailing edge, or the integral we compute in terms of the trailing edge. So from here, t minus t1 to t1, we have to integrate. So when you integrate that, you get the output. So for t, when it takes value greater than 2t, then the two signals are apart like this. So here t1, the h of tau will sit, rather h of t minus tau will sit, and x of tau, there will be no overlap. So therefore y of t will be 0 for t greater than 2t minus 1. So we see that there are three regions here. That is no overlap, partial overlap for the leading edge, partial overlap for the trailing edge, and no overlap. So therefore, for all the three, it is one integral of 1 is nothing but t. So therefore, it will be the ramp signal. So therefore, and what will be the final value of this ramp? Okay, so that depends. Okay, so it will be equal to 1. All right, so it reaches the value here. So this is the output y of t. So far we have seen the convolution, and before we conclude, so we have taken three different examples. In one example, we saw two infinite signals being convolved. In the other example, one finite signal, one infinite signal. And this is the third example where we take two finite signals. So we take so that we understand what will be the overlapping and how many times we'll have to compute the integral. So this is what we have seen in the convolution of two signals. So this is a very important operation. We use this convolution operation to find the output of any system. So when we apply an input, we get an output. That output we perform by using this mathematical function called mathematical operation called convolution. So convolution is an operation used to obtain the output. Okay, so that is the application we will see in the later on topics. So as of now, you can understand that convolution is a mathematical operation which involves one signal being fixed and the other signal reflected and shifted and moved over the fixed signal, and you are going to compute the integral over that for different regions. So that is what is the convolution operation. So with this, we conclude this topic. Thank you.